What's up, guys? Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. I'm Name Coast and you're with Dustin. Before we get into all of your Week 10 advice, shout out to our Week 9 Pick'em winner, Tongue, down there in Richmond. We're going to go ahead. I already sent you the email, so just hit me back with your shirt size and we'll be all set. Dustin, before we get into all of the tips and advice, talk a little bit about handcuffing and what you should be doing with it.
Before I talk about it, if Jordan Shipley could have hold on to the ball,
about this already.
the Bengals would have won that game.
That's what he gets for picking his Bengals.
Yeah,
Big losers.
They came back. They made it a game.
They lost.
They made it a game.
They did lose.
All right, we talked about it last week. It's time to start getting ready for the playoffs. And we're going to talk about handcuffing. You know, early in the season and through the bye weeks, we don't necessarily think that handcuffing is the best idea in all situations. But now that you're through the byes and you got some people on the bench that are probably going to never make your lineup again, you might as well handcuff your guys. If you have any studs that on teams that believe in the one-back system, we think it's a good idea just to have that safety net for the playoffs. All right, let's get into those forum questions. These are all poll questions on the homepage. First one comes from Bigger Boat. They need to know which quarterback should they start, David Garrard versus Houston, Orton versus KC, Shaw versus Jacksonville, or Fitzpatrick versus Detroit. On the homepage, 39% said Garrard.
You're normally right. I'm going against him, and I know Dustin agrees with me. We both say give Matt Schaub one last chance. Jacksonville, we've said it, I don't even know how many times for the last 2 years. They are terrible at defending the pass. Schaub, Andre, gonna have a big day. We would start Matt Schaub here. All right, Dustin. Peter's Monkey, I wonder if that's a Family Guy kind of play on words, wants to know, should he start Tammy versus Cincinnati, Blunt versus Carolina, Austin versus the Giants, or Nate Burleson against Buffalo? No chance you're gonna say that. 56% of the community go with Tammy.
This is a little tricky. There's been a report coming out that Tammy's a little bit banged up. And we've been seeing all sorts of love for Blunt in the forums this week going up against Carolina.
He loves him, Blunt, too.
I like Blunt this week, but I will say this, don't start him over any of your studs. But in this case, I think Blunt might be the play, especially with Tammy's injury stuff. And you'll see with my dud coming up here in a little bit, Miles Austin versus the Giants is a very scary matchup.
It's called foreshadowing there.
It's going to be hard for Kitna to throw for any yards on his back. But I think Blunt might have the slight edge now that Tammy's on the injury report. All right, Brent, last one. Erickson 78. Which quarterback? Freeman versus Carolina, Sean Hill versus Buffalo, or McNabb versus these old Eagles? 63% said Freeman.
They're right. Go Freeman. I mean, not much more to say. Freeman's been great. He gets you points with his legs. He's very consistent. He's going to pick up between like 20 and 40 rushing yards as well. Yeah, go Freeman. The community's right.
Time for my favorite part of the show, our studs, duds, and sleepers. My stud, I'm going with MJD. You know, I know Houston has a terrible pass D, and that's probably where they'll get a lot of their yards, but MJD likes to catch passes too. Look for him to have a good game. My dud, like I was saying, Miles Austin. Giants D is going to be all over Kitna. I don't think he's going to have a very good game. And my sleeper, Derek Anderson versus Seattle. Seattle's D has been terrible against the pass. Larry Fitz has been getting things going. Breston's healthy. I think Anderson could have a big game, maybe even top 10 quarterback this week.
Try to do a trade and give me Anderson. It's all a ploy here. Don't believe the hype. Nah, he is a good sleeper. My stud, I'm going to go 3 quarterbacks. My stud, Big Ben versus New England. New England's defense is pretty awful. Of course, they're going to be a little hyped up after that loss, but Steelers have been primed, looking great. Mike Wallace is really breaking out. My dud is going to be Carson Palmer against Indianapolis. The main reason for this, since he's smart, they're going to run the ball a ton with Benson. Since he's smart, the Dustin's team over here ain't my team. My sleeper, David Garrard versus Houston. Again, we've been beating this drum all year. If anyone that throws the football or catches the football plays the Texans, get him in your lineup. It's probably going to be a good bet. Garrard's coming off a 5 touchdown, 4 passing, 1 rushing game. Donger, you played him against me. Still hurts. Still hurts.
All right, let's get into Mike's picks. His stud is Vic against the Redskins. You know, if he can not get hurt this time, he should have a monster game. Skins 31st against the pass. His dud, LT. You know, there's been reports out that Sean Green's going to get more carries, like we've been saying all year. Green's going to be there when it counts the most, but that's a different story. Cleveland's pretty decent against the run. Look for LT to have just another mediocre game. And his sleeper, Mike Thomas versus Houston. You know, we think he could have a good game. You know, Mike's high on him this week. Houston's given up 20 passing touchdowns so far this year, so Thomas could get in the end zone.
The guy that catches the football against the Texans.
So that's it for this week's show. Brent and I will be in those forums as much as we can. They've been active lately, so we love it. I'm Dustin. This is Brent. We'll see you next time.